LA Mayor Karen Bass just funneled your tax dollars to illegal immigrants. This is what betrayal looks like. LA's Democratic mayor just handed out taxpayer-funded cash cards to illegal immigrants. ICE got benched by a Biden judge, and Black Americans still no reparations, but illegals, they're getting paid to skip work. Roll the tape.
Hurry up.
You know what I need you to do. Hit that like, subscribe, and ring that bell, because if we don't start calling this out loud, it'll continue to be done in the quiet.
When I heard this news about the cash payments, I thought this cannot possibly be true. But then on reflection, I thought, of course it's true, because California already provides the most generous benefits for illegal immigrants of any state by far. Newsom has driven Medicaid insolvent by giving out free comprehensive benefits for everyone. And now Bass is giving out these free cash cards. And apparently one of the ways you can get one is if you're too afraid to go into work. Well, number one, this fear, to the extent that it exists, is largely driven by Karen Bass and Gavin Newsom, who have purposely incited fear and driven these rioters into a state of frenzy. But number two, if we say that if you're too afraid to go to work, you get free cash payments, I think that all of a sudden we're going to find there are a lot more people who are suddenly too afraid to go into work. But the real kicker in all this is that Karen Bass has chosen, of all groups, Churla to distribute the cards. Now, remember, this is the group that got $34 million in funding and then played a central role in organizing the riot.
So let me get this straight. If you cross the border illegally and claim that you're too afraid to go to work, LA will just pay you straight up taxpayer cash, no ID, no background check, no citizenship. Black people in California fought for reparations, and guess what? They were told, sorry, there's no money for that. But the minute non-citizens say they're nervous about ICE, the LA mayor turns into Oprah with a debit card. You get a payout, you get a payout, you get a payout. This isn't compassion, people. This is complicity. And then she picked Churla, the same group that pocketed $34 million and helped stir up the early riots, to hand out the money. If you ever needed proof that the Democratic base has shifted, here it is. Black people got lip service, and illegals, they got the bag.
Fox has told that federal judge Mame Awusi Mensah Frimpong, a Biden appointee, has written a tentative order that will potentially block the Trump administration, DHS, from carrying out some of the most controversial parts of its immigration sweeps here in the LA area. In particular, DHS will be blocked from conducting stops of suspected illegal immigrants unless the agent has a reasonable suspicion that there is a violation of immigration law. Additionally, the Trump administration will be blocked from relying on race, Spanish-speaking, location, and type of work when making immigration arrests. Now, plaintiff attorneys argue that as this hearing was taking place, a farm in Camarillo, north of Los Angeles, was being raided by federal agents, with farm workers being taken into federal custody. They said that highlights the urgency of this case.
An unelected judge just told ICE they can't do their job. Not because the law changed, but because their feelings changed. No more workplace raids. No arrests based on location, language, or behavior. Unless ICE has a full confession, they're supposed to just walk away. Let me tell you something. This isn't justice. It's sabotage. Democrats want to shield illegals from consequences, and this judge just built them an invisible wall against law enforcement. And what's worse, everybody knows it's unconstitutional. They know it'll get overturned. But the goal is to jam up Trump's agenda, burn the clock, and dare anyone to stop them. It's a coordinated slowdown, and the American people are stuck in traffic behind it.
Frankly, it is outrageous and un-American that we have federal armed vehicles in our parks when nothing is going on in the parks.
Said, I've got to go. I said, what's going on, Mayor? She goes, well, something's going on in MacArthur Park.
MacArthur Park is this beautiful park downtown, here in downtown Los Angeles.
What happened to the criminals, the drug dealers, the violent individuals who were in the park today were children. It was their summer camp, their summer day camp.
The media said, oh no, oh no, oh no, the army's marching through LA. Yeah, because MacArthur Park looked like a cartel training camp. Drug tents, needles, gangs, and chaos. And when the National Guard steps in to clean it up, Karen Bass acts like it's Tiananmen Square. They claim it's about protecting families, but the only family they're protecting is the one pushing fentanyl 2 blocks from a playground. This is the same park they said was kids just playing. You lie like that when you need the chaos to stay in control.
It's a crime. And again, another example of how the city government of Los Angeles is waging a campaign of insurrection against the federal government. Let's be very clear. What would Los Angeles look like without illegal aliens? Here's what it would look like. You would be able to see a doctor in the emergency room right away, no wait time, no problem. Your kids would go to a public school that had more money than they know what to do with. Classrooms would be half the size. Students who had special needs would get all the attention that they needed. There would be no violent transnational gangs. There would be no cartels. There would be no Mexican mafia. There would be no Serenos. There would be no MS-13. There would be no TDA. You would be living in a city that would be safe, that would be clean. There would be no fentanyl. There would be no drug dens. That could be the future Los Angeles could have, but the leaders in Los Angeles have formed an alliance with the cartels and the criminal aliens.
All right,
Stephen Miller spelled it out, and every Angelino knows he's right. Without illegal immigration, LA would have more school funding, half the classroom sizes, doctors with shorter wait times, less gang violence, less fentanyl, and more accountability. Instead, the system is overwhelmed and underperforming, and it's by design. Because a struggling city means a dependent voter base, and that's what the Democrats are really building. They don't want to solve anything. They want to subsidize dysfunction. The bottom line is illegals get checks and you get checked. Let's call this what it is. Karen Bass just turned reparations into a foreign aid package, and she gave it to the people who broke the law to be here. If you're a citizen, especially a Black American, you should be furious and coming up out of your seat. You followed the rules. You paid your taxes. You raised your family here. But in 2025, that makes you last in line. And that's what this whole game is about. Flipping the script and making you feel guilty for even noticing. Well, I noticed, and I'm not shutting up. Let me know what you think in the comments, people. If reparations were too complicated to figure out, how did Karen Bass hand out cash cards to illegal immigrants overnight? Should activist judges be able to block federal law enforcement without consequences? Do you think Democrats are building a new voter base and leaving Black Americans behind? What do you think your city would look like if ICE were blocked from doing workplace raids like in LA? Why do you think the media lies about National Guard cleanups but glorifies drug-infested parks? Thanks for watching, people. You know what to do. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, and share this with someone who's still sipping that Democratic Kool-Aid. Thanks again. God bless.
Listen.